now, so I just got off recruiting orders with the Coast Guard for 100 days, and they're like kind of hurting for people.
Is that right?
Yeah. So they're.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, yeah. It's relatively quick too, and then they give like bonuses for quick ships. They're like, hey, we'll put you, we'll give you like $1,000, $2,000 if you guys want to ship out like next month. Granted, your whole medical background goes through.
Right. You gotta pass muster. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you take the ASVAB, go to MEPS, do your medical stuff, and if they
so you're doing the whole process all over again, just like going to the Marine Corps.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then I assume there's some type of a boot camp or whatever.
Yeah. I'll kind of touch on that.
Okay, yeah,
so it's so basically if you're a prior service, you go through what's called a direct entry petty officer training. So it's like 28 days, I think it was, and it's kind of like modified.
Gotcha.
And like we had probably like 10 prior service, and the commanding officer, or what do they call them? Company
commanders.
Company commanders, like the drill instructors, drill sergeants. That's what they call them. They know your background, so like they knew that me and a couple of my buddies were in the Marine Corps infantry, so they're kind of like, let's not like fuck with you. Let's just kind of like get you guys through this. But they still have to do like, this is the Coast Guard. We still got fucked with a little bit, like, the fuck games that they all do in the military. And believe it or not, the Coast Guard actually is pretty equivalent to Marine Corps boot camp. We didn't get the full experience, but we saw the 18, 19, 20-year-olds running around.
So they call that like the 8-week companies. So like ours was like 3. So their full is 8 weeks.
And we saw them doing stuff where I'm like, fuck, that was just like in the Marine Corps. And you see an 18-year-old holding up a rifle just thinking it's the heaviest thing in the world, right? And you just like get some sense of joy out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I remember being in your shoes, man. You'll get through it. Think of something happy. Find your happy place, like Happy Gilmore. But yeah, for us, we had the same recruiter, and she was like, oh, you guys were both in the Marine Corps. Boom. Like we ran the PT test, and I was like, I got to train for this PT test, and ran it like a mile and a half. And I think it was like 9 minutes, like 9 minutes. And she was like, oh my God. I'm like, was that good? Like, do I pass? She's like, yeah, we normally get like 10 or 11. I'm like, all right, cool. Like whatever. But I guess when we were in depot, that training, that's kind of where all your leadership that you've learned kind of comes into play, and then it's just a smooth transition into the Coast Guard.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it kind of just, like for the depot aspect of it kind of just tells you like, hey, this is the Coast Guard. These are the ranks. This is your uniform. This is how everything like plays out.
Yeah, and this all makes perfect sense to you at this point. You're like, yeah.
They really don't like focus on like, discipline, customs and courtesies. I mean, a little bit, but not as bad as they do in like the 8 weeks because people are coming in new and having no fucking clue what's going on. So it's nice. So
unfortunately, Jesse had to drop down 1 rank, right?
2.
What'd you do?
2 ranks. Up? That's right.
No. So infantry to Coast Guard doesn't, correlate. And so I got out as an E5 in the Marine Corps. And I come over and like, yeah, you got to go to E3.
So you get out of E5, you take that GI Bill for a little bit, and now you go to E3. Like, what the fuck, man?
And then you drop 2 pay grades and you get a pay cut. Yeah. So he got screwed. Thankfully,
dude.
Thankfully, I kind of got hooked up with my background in law enforcement and all my like training and experience. My resume. My recruiter was like, "Hey, let's write up a nice letter." Spell all the words correctly, have proper grammar, all this stuff, right? She's like, list out all your training and experience that you've done since you joined the Marine Corps. And I was like, okay, cool. So,
granted, this was for a school, right? Like he doesn't want to go to Maritime Law Enforcement Academy. So our job is Maritime Enforcement Specialist.
Gotcha.
So this is for him to like pretty much skip that because he's a cop and kind of knows.
We didn't get to that part, the fact that you're current law enforcement.
Yeah. So we'll touch on that in a second. But basically, I wrote this letter out where I was like, yeah, this is what I did in the Marine Corps, combat marksmanship coach, was a part of the Marine Corps shooting team for 1 year. And then I went into my law enforcement experience being a member of the SWAT team, the type of training that I've done off duty on my own time with vehicle interdiction courses or CQB type stuff. And I listed all my training experience with firearms. And basically it got sent up to like this 06, this like super high ranking dude. And he signed off on it so I can keep my rank. So I kept E5, thankfully.
Oh, good.
So I felt bad because Jesse kind of got fucked. But,
yeah, I had to go to Charleston for 3 months, but he didn't.
Yeah, I didn't have to go to that course. So it all worked out for me. I'll be a little fucking selfish.
Whatever. You did the work, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So you guys are currently still you're still currently Coast Guard and you're law enforcement.
Yeah.
How does that work out? And you said you're working EOD with a company also in the Bay Area.
Yeah, private security company.
Okay, so is this like executive protection?
No, so they have you heard of Michael Stapleton, like MSA?
No.
Okay, so they have like actually we just got bought out by Allied.
Okay, I know about them.
Yeah, so they have like armed guards or like your regular security guard or whatnot, and then another like I guess detachment from them is explosive detection canine handler.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In the privates, it basically is for the private sector.
Yes.
You're being contracted to work for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like Chase Center, we work at Chase Center, Facebook, Apple.
Making sense now.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Giants games, A's games. We used to work at the Niners stadium.
Okay.
And now there's like a whole other side of where it's like FedEx, USPS, UPS, or not UPS, but you know, like cargo side.
Yep.
So,
okay.
Yeah. There's a lot. It's fun.
That makes sense. So keeping you busy when you're not doing whatever your mandatory shifts are.
Yeah.
Up in San Francisco.
Yep.
Gotcha.